Welcome back to the Automation Implementation Methodology Fundamentals course. In this video, we'll continue to look at the roles and responsibilities of the people involved in an automation implementation. But this time, we're moving away from the core roles in the automation implementation team and away from the center of excellence. Instead, we're going to focus on the roles in the business team or client team, as you'll sometimes find it. So, by the end of this video, you'll be able to list the typical roles along with their sub-teams involved in an automation implementation process from the client team side. Describe at a high level the responsibilities for each of the client team roles. And locate where in the implementation process each role is involved. As a quick reminder, we at UiPath are confident that following this automation methodology, which was distilled from thousands of hours of project work, will result in more efficient and effective implementations. This should be the case whether a company does it by itself or by engaging with partners or UiPath. In every implementation, there's the team in charge of delivering the solution and the beneficiary group. In this course, we're calling the latter the client team or business team. The degree of overall involvement may vary from simple testing and acceptance of the solution to working side by side. The roles themselves may be very different from one case to another, so we aim to be as universal as possible, offering the framework which can then be customized. The engagement sponsor will be our first role to explore. Engagement sponsors, sometimes called automation sponsors, are the decision makers of enterprise-wide automation programs consisting of multiple initiatives. At a project level, you can expect them to be involved in kickoff and project closure. However, they're in the loop throughout all implementation stages as they must know of any changes or blockers, especially since some important decisions are with them. Engagement sponsors finance implementation projects and handle approving change requests and billing packages. Lastly, the engagement sponsor signs off on the project completion. The next role is the client project manager. In large projects or where the client team is deeply involved in the actual implementation work, the project manager will mirror the activities of the implementation team project manager. That means that they're involved at all stages, managing the overall implementation from the client team side. Generally, they coordinate between the implementation team and the client team to ensure a successful project. They're responsible for providing all of the resources necessary to execute the project. This includes working with IT to provision robot hardware, locking the availability of the client's subject matter expert, and offering access to the relevant software. Among their key tasks are approving the list of deliverables and updating business cases. Client project managers also collaborate with the implementation team project managers to develop hardware, software, and access requirement plans. They also work together on the project level retrospective. Client project managers are responsible for managing internal processes and escalations necessary to maintain budgets, timelines, and deliverables. Now let's look at the process owner role within the client team. This is one of the roles that cannot be omitted, regardless of the amount of knowledge that the implementation team has acquired. Process owners have to be available throughout the entire implementation process, since they are the decision makers in the end-to-end process. As decision makers, they're responsible for approving the process definition document and the user acceptance testing, as well as working with the support team and the client solution architect to obtain the solution design document approval after UAT. Apart from approving the initial and updated business cases, they're also in charge of approving the as-is and to-be high-level designs. Additionally, they create a deployment plan together with the solution architect and the request for production deployment. Perfect. Another important role within the client team is the Process Subject Matter Expert, or Process SME. A process subject matter expert is deeply involved in the business case and technical validation, process analysis, user acceptance testing, as well as hypercare phases, but they need to be available in solution design and development and testing phases as well. One of their key tasks is to collaborate with the business analyst and provide the standard operating procedure for the selected process, together with all of the other relevant documents and the unwritten knowledge for the evaluation of the process, the deep analysis, as well as the knowledge transfer for implementation. Process SMEs should also collaborate with the business analysts and the automation developers to provide the test data and carry out the UAT, including detecting and logging defects, notifying the developers, and providing additional details for them to identify the cause and fix the defects. The process SMEs then retest the scenario to verify if the bugs have been resolved. Upon completion of the UAT, the process SME supports the process owner to prepare the sign-off. Additionally, some process SMEs perform load and stress tests and monitor the hypercare for final approval. After the automation go live, the subject matter experts are expected to stay close and provide guidance on the business matters encountered. For example, human validations of the tasks performed by the robots with low confidence. Even if the process is fully automated, the SME should stay around for a reasonable period just to make sure that things go as planned. Next in line is the client IT team, which supports the implementation team on the technical side. The client IT team may include architecture, infrastructure, security, and application specialists. They're all involved in different stages of the implementation process, but their knowledge is crucial during kickoff, process analysis, solution design, development and testing, UAT, and hypercare. They're knowledgeable about the organization's technical setup and assist the automation implementation team in integrating with the client systems, accessing applications, provisioning robots, and deploying the automation. Their key task is to support when consulted on technical setup details and deployment. Sometimes in large-scale projects or when the implementations are done with partners, companies choose to involve their own automation practitioners, either to lower the costs by reducing the billable hours or to gradually develop their own expertise to set up their center of excellence. In these cases, the roles will mirror the ones in the automation implementation team, for example, business analysts, automation developers, and so on. The way the work is split is typically discussed and agreed between the engagement sponsor and the automation center of excellence, with the involvement of the solution architect and the project manager. Great! We'll now look at the support team. This is typically encountered in scenarios in which the implementation was done with external vendors. The beneficiary company is expected to set up a support group to tackle the technical issues during automation operation. In some cases, companies prefer to outsource this service to the implementation partners. The support team is a part of the deployment and hypercare phase and is also a part of project closure and beyond. In all scenarios, the support team receives the documentation and the knowledge transfer takes place from the development team after the UAT to be able to handle long-term support of automations after project closure. Support is typically divided into 2 or 3 levels. Level 1 is the first point of contact. In Level 1, the team figures out the root cause, assists with simple issues, and escalates if needed. In Level 2, the team assists with more complex issues, makes small code changes to resolve issues, redeploys the automation, and escalates if needed. Level 3 is the last level of support. In Level 3, the team makes large edits and changes to resolve issues and redeploy the automation. As best practice, the support team approves change requests and go live, sets up production orchestrator and robot machines, and deploys the automation to production in collaboration with the implementation team. Additionally, the support team must maintain the automation documentation by updating the runbook. Lastly, the support team works with UiPath product support on issues unrelated to the specific process and deemed to be product issues. But what happens once the automation goes live? Who's supposed to manage it? We call this role the Automation Operations Manager. This is typically a role encountered in mature organizations, as it typically manages an entire portfolio of automations. The Automation Operations Manager is a part of the deployment and hypercare phase and extends their involvement to project closure and beyond. They're in charge of starting and monitoring the automations from the health and quality perspectives. The Automation Operations Manager is typically capable of maintaining the user access and of allocating and reallocating robots to different pools and automations. They're typically the first to notice issues and will engage with support every time the issue encountered is technical and not business-related. If the issue is business-related, they should be able to discuss it with the process owner and the subject matter expert to fix it. Great! These are the roles and teams involved in the implementation process on the client side. Now let's do a quick recap. On the client side, you'll encounter all or some of the following roles: the engagement sponsor, the client project manager, the process owner, the process SME, the IT team, the support team, and the Automation Operations Manager. The client team collaborates with the implementation team to ensure a successful project. Depending on the size of the project, the engagement model chosen, as well as the availability of the skill sets, these roles may be present or not. However, in very rare cases, it is acceptable to run implementations without the process owner and subject matter experts. We hope that all of this information, together with the additional resources provided in this course, will help you empower your team to have a smoother, faster, and more effective implementation experience. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy automation!